Hey guys, it's Sarah here. So this theory's been going around for a little while, and I wanted to talk about it, especially after last week's episode, which was Season 6, Episode 8. This theory can apply to both the TV show and the books, so there's something here for everyone. But there's more foreshadowing of it in the books, which I will go over later. Some popular YouTubers such as Emergency Awesome briefly go over this theory, and I've added links to his videos in the description below, but I wanted to take a look at it with more detail for people who haven't read the books yet or who haven't really heard of this theory before. A lot of people expected Cersei's trial against the Faith to be a trial by combat, and possibly tie over with the Clegane Bowl theory, but as we saw in the last episode, Tommen banned this practice, basically condemning Cersei to whatever fate the High Sparrow wishes upon her. As she gets more desperate, you can see her becoming more radical in the way she tries to protect her son and herself. And I believe she will turn to Wildfire to fight the Faith. Now hear me out, because yes, it delves into tinfoil territory, but it's not actually that far-fetched. Cersei is becoming more and more paranoid and is losing whatever sense she had as she loses power and the people she loves. This would probably be the case for anyone, but Cersei has reason to believe that Tommen and herself are in particular danger, possibly immediate danger, and more so than the danger that generally accompanies being royalty in an unstable realm. I'm specifically referring to the Maggie the Frog prophecy, which was brushed over quickly in a previous season with a Cersei flashback, but it's brought up a couple times in Cersei's point of view chapters as well in the books. I'm going to go over the prophecy and what it means for Cersei to set up her background and motive, and then I will dive into the theory that Cersei will turn to Wildfire in her fight against the Faith in her efforts to protect herself and her son. So here's the conversation between Cersei and Maggie the Frog. "When will I wed the prince?" she asked. "Never. You will wed the king." "I will be queen, though?" asked the younger her. "Aye." Malice gleamed in Maggie's yellow eyes. "Queen you shall be, until there comes another, younger and more beautiful, to cast you down and take all that you hold dear." "Will the king and I have children?" she asked. "Oh, aye. 6 and 10 for him, and 3 for you." "Gold shall be their crowns, and gold their shrouds," she said. "And when your tears have drowned you, the Valanqar shall wrap his hands about your pale white throat and choke the life from you." So Cersei has reason to believe that this will come to pass, because Maggie was already right about her marrying Robert, and about the number of children they both will have. Marjorie has replaced her as queen, has her claws deep within Tommen, and Cersei's losing all the influence and power she had in court, and over her son. So far, Cersei has lost Joffrey and Myrcella, which directly relate to the prophecy, and she's lost her father as well, who she blames Tyrion for. Tyrion is her younger brother, and the Valyrian word Valanqar means younger brother. Ever since Cersei heard this prophecy, she hated Tyrion because she expected him to be the one who kills her and her children. And after killing Tywin and being blamed for Joffrey's death, Tyrion has made himself Cersei's prime target. The next in line to die, according to the prophecy, is Tommen, and then it will be Cersei's turn. So now that we have some background on why Cersei would be so desperate to protect herself and Tommen, and willing to go to great lengths to do so, as we've seen in the show, and the Faith currently represents the greatest threat to her and Tommen, I think we can get back to the theory on why she would go to such dramatic lengths to fight the Faith. There's a lot of foreshadowing that Cersei will resort to using Wildfire in the books, and it also would be an immediate parallel to the Mad King, who also wanted to use Wildfire in King's Landing. In his case, it was to burn down King's Landing and everyone in it. Possible foreshadowing for an episode of Cersei Wildfire include numerous burn them to the ground threats regarding her enemies, along with general support of using Wildfire in the Battle of the Blackwater, and going overkill with her alchemists to continue making her more Wildfire. After Tyrion's escape in the books, Cersei sets fire to the Tower of the Hand with Wildfire in case he was still hiding in the walls, because she was paranoid that he was lurking, waiting to kill her and Tommen. And guess what? She loved it, and it was really quite disturbing. Here are some quotes from that chapter. "If these flames spread beyond the tower, you may end up burning down the castle whether you mean to or not. Wildfire is treacherous. Lord Halland has assured me that his pyromancers can control the fire. The Guild of Alchemists had been brewing fresh wildfire for a fortnight. Let all of King's Landing see the flames. It will be a lesson to our enemies." "Now you sound like Eris." Jaime knew the look in his sister's eyes. He had seen it before, most recently on the night of Tommen's wedding, when she burned the Tower of the Hand. The green light of the wildfire had bathed the face of the watchers, so they looked like nothing so much as rotting corpses, a pack of gleeful ghouls, but some of the corpses were prettier than others. Even in the baleful glow, Cersei had been beautiful to look upon. She stood with one hand on her breast, her lips parted, her green eyes shining. She's crying, Jaime had realized, but whether it was from grief or ecstasy he could not have said. The sight had filled him with disquiet, reminding him of Aerys Targaryen and the way a burning would arouse him. So clearly we can see that Cersei definitely enjoys using wildfire, especially against her enemies. George R. R. Martin has used foreshadowing a lot so far in the series, and we definitely get a lot of association between Cersei and wildfire in other situations as well. So here are a few examples. Their father had been as relentless and implacable as a glacier, where Cersei was all wildfire, especially when thwarted. Candlelight gleamed green as wildfire in Cersei's eyes. The queen was drinking heavily, but the wine only seemed to make her more beautiful. Her cheeks were flushed, and her eyes had a bright, feverish heat to them as she looked down over the hall. Eyes of wildfire, Sansa thought. Her eyes burned green fire in the dusk like the lioness that was her sigil. And then there's these ones as well. Seeing as both the Mad King and Cersei seemed to be obsessed with wildfire, and both were having pyromancers making them more wildfire, Aerys for burning the city, Cersei for the Battle of the Blackwater, it's not out of the realms of possibility that some wildfire is still available around King's Landing. I think Mad Aerys had a lot of stores around the city, and I don't think anyone found all of them. I mean, in this week's episode, Tyrion even said that the Mad King had stores of wildfire under the Sept and under the Red Keep. I think this is definitely foreshadowing wildfire for next episode. When I watched Emergency Awesome's review for last week's episode, he mentioned this could be what Qyburn and his little birds have been investigating for Cersei, which would totally make sense if this theory is true. George R. R. Martin also likes to write his stories with the past repeating itself. When the Mad King wanted to burn down King's Landing, in self-preservation, Jaime saved the day by turning his back on his oath as a Kingsguard member and slayed him for the greater good. This leads me to believe that if Cersei decides to go insane with wildfire, Jaime might have to step in again as he did with the Mad King and kill Cersei. This would fit with the prophecy, as Jaime, being Cersei's twin, is technically her younger brother too, because he's the younger twin, and it would be poetic and tragic to end their relationship in this way. The last time a king tried to burn everything, the throne changed hands shortly after. This could be the case after Cersei burns everything as well. Emergency Awesome said that he thinks Tommen might even die as collateral damage of Cersei's plan, which would further advance the prophecy and possibly give Jaime even more reason to kill Cersei. But this is just speculation. Jaime has also said that he believes that he and Cersei will die together, as they were born together, so maybe he kills her as a mercy, or he comes too late and they burn together. Other characters foreshadow the destruction of King's Landing as well, such as Arya, who says that the city deserves to burn, and Dany, who has a vision of a destroyed Red Keep. This is a bit of a stretch, but so are all theories if we think about it. I hope you enjoyed this theory. I'd like to hear your feedback or other possible ideas for what Cersei is going to do, and since I've been getting a few requests, I hope to go over Ice Dragon theories and Jack and Hagar theories within the next couple of weeks. Thanks again, guys. See you next week.